Once upon a time there lived a mouse. It's okay. In fact, it worked for a long time ago. But is it exciting? Does it make you want to jump out of your seat to find out what happens next? Not really.
Inspiring academic confidence, one story at a time. The Writer's Classroom.
Today, my story detectives, we're looking at two of the world's greatest book hookers, Julia Donaldson and Tom Fletcher. We've found 5 secret hooks that they use to grab readers by the ears and pull them into their stories. If you learn these, you won't just be a writer, you'll be a master storyteller.
A mouse took a stroll through the deep, dark wood.
The Gruffalo by Julia Donaldson. A mouse took a stroll through a deep, dark wood. Why it works? It paints a picture almost immediately. By using adjectives like deep and dark, Julia is setting a mood. It feels like, well, a bit spooky, but also very exciting. This is where our author doesn't just tell us what is happening. They show you exactly where you are and or what is happening. Our first secret weapon is a descriptive opening. A mouse took a stroll through the deep, dark woods. Now let's put on our story detective hats once again. Why does this word really work better than a mouse went for a walk in a forest? 1. The mood. Look at those adjectives. Deep, dark. Julia Donaldson isn't just telling us that there are trees. She's telling us that this place is huge and maybe a little bit scary. It sets the mood immediately. We feel a tiny bit of tension and then we think, is the mouse really safe? 2 is the contrast. Think about a tiny little mouse. Now think about a deep, dark wood. It makes the mouse look small and the world look very big. This creates another question in our mind. How is this little guy going to survive? 3. The rhythm. Listen to the beat. A mouse took a stroll through a deep, dark wood. It sounds like a heartbeat or a walking pace. It hooks your ears as well as your brain. Before we move to hook number 2, let's try it. If I say, an alien sat on a planet, that feels kind of boring. But if we use Julia Donaldson's and add description, then we could say, a silver alien sat on a jagged purple planet. Can you feel the difference? One is like a stickman drawing and the other is a flashy 3D movie. And now for your mini task. Look around your room right now, wherever you are. Pick one thing. It could be a chair, a cat, even a smelly shoe, and give it 2 mood adjectives. It starts a story. Is it a rusty forgotten shoe or a sparkly magic shoe? You're already hooking us. Okay, story detectives, go. Description is great for setting the scene, but what if you want to start your story like a rocket ship taking off? That's when we use Tom Fletcher's favourite trick, in media res, or what I like to call hitting the fast forward button. Let's look at the book, The Christmasaurus and the Naughty List by Tom Fletcher. It was a week before Christmas and the North Pole was a whirlwind of activity. And why does in media res work? Well, it's really a fancy way of starting in the middle of the action. We don't need to hear them waking up or getting ready. We're dropped right into the chaos of the Christmas workshop. So okay, detectives, you've mastered a descriptive opening. You've painted a picture of the scene. What if you want the readers to start the story at 100 miles an hour? Because that's where your character is. And it's time for another mini mission. Think of a boring chore that you have done today. It could be washing the dishes, brushing your teeth, or packing a school bag. Now write the first line of the story where something has gone spectacularly wrong right in the middle of what you're doing. Maybe you suddenly explode with bubbles. Maybe a textbook sprouts wings and flies out of your bag. Or maybe your toothbrush turns to a magical sword. But start right in the middle of the action. What could the first line be? Okay, story detectives. What if you don't want to describe a dark forest and you don't want to start in the middle of a chaotic storm? What if you want your character to start talking immediately? That's called a dialogue hook. It means that the very first thing your reader sees on the page is a quotation mark and someone speaking out loud.
Give me the treasure.
Look at how Tom Fletcher does this in There's an Alien in Your Book. He starts with, "Oh no, a spaceship has crash landed in your book." Why does this work so well? Because speech brings a story to life instantly, instead of a boring sentence like "a boy saw an alien." Starting with dialogue makes the reader feel that someone is shouting right at them.
I just saw an alien!
It creates instant energy, reveals a character's voice, and makes us want to know who is talking and what on earth they're talking about. If you want to get your reader excited from the very first syllable, try opening your story with a loud exclamation, a sneaky whisper, or a dramatic question. Just let your characters do all the talking. And here's your mini task. Imagine that your main character has just walked into their kitchen and seen something absolutely shocking. Write down the very first words that fly out of their mouth. Are they screaming, "Put it down right now!" Or whispering, "Oh, I thought you were a myth"? Remember to use quotation marks. And now one of my favourites, the world building hook. Now, what if a story doesn't take place in a normal bedroom, or a school, or a forest? What if your story takes place somewhere completely magical, out in space, or in a land that you totally made up inside your head? Well, that's when you need a world building hook. This is where an author uses the very first line to paint a picture of a brand new world, pulling the reader out of their own reality and dropping them straight into your magical setting. Julia Donaldson is an absolute whiz at this. Look at how she starts the Smeds and the Smoos, for example. By a lobular lake on a far-off planet, there lived a young Smed and her name was Janet. Think about that. In these two short lines, she tells us that we're in a faraway place in the stars. She introduces a totally alien feature, a lobular lake. What is that? And she sets a sci-fi adventure before we've even turned the page. Why does this work? Because instead of saying something plain like, "There's an alien on a planet," she uses incredible, unusual words to instantly trigger our imagination. It makes your readers say, "Wow, I'm not in my living room anymore. I want to explore this place." So if you're writing a fantasy or a sci-fi story, don't be afraid to show off your awesome setting straight away in the first line. And here's your world-building mini-task. Take a look at the floor right beneath your feet. Now change the rules of reality. If you look down, what are you standing on instead of a floor or carpet? Is it a glowing sea of purple slime? A bridge made of frozen stardust? Write one line that describes a strange ground beneath your character's feet. That's your first line. It puts them straight into the new world. And finally, you've reached number 5. What if you didn't want to ease your reader in with a nice description? What if you want to start your story with a massive, mind-blowing problem on page 1? This is the conflict hook. It means you drop the biggest, most shocking problem of the entire book right in the very first sentence. No waiting around, just boom, instant trouble. Tom Fletcher is an absolute master at the conflict hook. Check out how he starts his book, The Creakers. Just read this one with Max. Mothers and fathers throughout Whifflington tucked their children into bed, unaware this would be the last bedtime story, the last goodnight kiss, and the last time they'd switch off the lights. Can you imagine it? You wake up and every single adult has gone. No mums, no dads, no teachers, no grandparents, no rules. And also, what total chaos would that be? Why is this hook so powerful? Because it creates instant stakes. It forces 2 massive questions into the reader's brain. How did it happen? And what is this girl going to do next? Your readers physically cannot close the book because they just need those answers immediately. So if you want to grab your reader by the ears, try starting with a giant problem. Lose something important, break a major rule, or make something impossible happen in line number 1. So I guess this is your final mini task. Think about your normal routine. You wake up, you roll out of bed, and boom. What is the one thing that could be missing or completely broken that would change everything? Did gravity finally turn off? Did you wake up to find that you can only speak in rhymes? Write the first line that starts with, "This morning I woke up and found," and finish with a giant problem. Okay, are you ready? So why do we care so much about just one little line at the start of a book? Because the first line is the handshake between you and your reader. It is your only chance to say, "Hey, look over here. Something amazing is about to happen and you don't want to miss it." As you've seen today, authors like Julia Donaldson and Tom Fletcher are absolutely masters at this. Whether they are painting a spooky mood or a beautiful description, throwing us into a whirlwind of action, or dropping a massive, unignorable problem on page 1, they make it impossible to put the book down. And that is exactly what you can do with your own writing. If you loved diving into these hooks today and want to take your storytelling to the next level, I have something special. Over at the Writers Classroom, I run a brilliant mini 6-week course called How to Start a Book. Together we explore how to build magnificent worlds, shape unforgettable characters, and craft not only the first opening line, but also the first chapter that will leave the reader begging for more. Let's build creative confidence. Explore our online courses today and subscribe so you never miss a lesson. Thank you.